In Tallahassee, they play their game. Scumbag politicals, they're all the same. From Miami Heat to Tampa skies, the truth is hidden behind their lies. Florida's close, we're taking control. This unsanctioned show, we're on a roll. Unsanctioned Florida, we'll bring the heat. Spotlight on the scumbags, can't accept defeat. From the coast to the swamp, we'll make it clear. A sunshine shines state, we're spreading the fear. Unsanctioned Florida, we'll bring the heat. Stop the chrome shot, the scumbag can't accept defeat. In the sunshine state, we're spreading the fear, the fear. Red and blue, they try to divide, but we'll expose the truth, we won't hide. Corruption runs deep, it's like a crime wave. On this podcast, we'll be brave. Echoes of the truth, let it ring. Politicians bail, but we're the real thing. Unsanctioned Florida will bring the heat. Spotlight on the scumbags, can't accept defeat. From the coast to the swamp, we'll make it clear. In the sunshine state, we're spreading the fear. So tune in, now we've got work to do. Exposing the truth, bringing it to you. Bringing it to you.
This is Attorney General James Uffmeyer. This morning, our office is again putting Orlando's State Attorney Monique Worrell on notice. You got it wrong in a recent case. You acted in error. State Attorney Worrell, who historically has not prosecuted a lot of cases she should have, did so here in a case against a woman who justifiably engaged in self-defense, who justifiably stood her ground. Late last year, Tina Algia was driving her car when she engaged in a road rage spat. But unlike many road rage incidents, this one ended in violence. The gentleman in the other vehicle, the offender, he got out of his car, he went over and approached Tina's unmoving vehicle, ripped open the door, violently attacked her, hit her, and tried to drag her out of her vehicle. It was at this point that Tina grabbed a lawfully owned firearm and engaged in deadly force. She was being attacked in a confined space, her own car. Under Florida law, she justifiably stood her ground and acted in self-defense. So we're calling on State Attorney Worrell, fix this, right this wrong. Here in the AG's office, we will stand strong for people that rightly engage in self-defense. Thank you.
Now turning to the matter at hand. There was a vision, high-speed internet for all Americans, and a tale of two laws. The American Rescue Plan, passed in March of 2021. It was in February 2023, then Governor DeSantis announces $7.6 million in rural broadband gets deployed in Central Florida in areas of my district like Kenansville, Deer Park, Bull Creek, and Yeehaw Junction, which is a place. We all have those. And Yeehaw Junction, which is a place. We all have those.
That's right. He has no respect for you, and he shows it right there. He's smirking, John. He's laughing about Yeehaw Junction. Hey, we all have places like those in our districts, you know? It's unbelievable. John, I have no sound for you.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, places where they don't respect the voters, they don't respect their wishes. It's just what an embarrassing just display of arrogance for him.
Yeah, and that is Darren Soto right there. You know, he's very comfortable in that seat. And, you know, Osceola, Orange County voters, you need to make him very uncomfortable in that seat.
I don't think that he is too comfortable in that seat anymore. I think that now he's worrying that the tide has changed and now the NRCC has been putting a lot of money in ads there. So who knows?
Yeah, well, I'm praying. I think we all are. All right. So
now, in terms of Morel, I think that we're just going to save that for later, right?
Yes, absolutely. In the second half of the show, yeah, we're gonna talk about her. There's plenty to go around there. That's not the only thing that this woman has done wrong, and over the years, John, it's not anything new with Monique Worrell.
Yeah, she's been removed once, and she should have been, some way just kept out. I think that they fumbled that. They wanted to keep her out, but they ended up dropping the ball in that whole process and made a big mess of it. I hope that they do something in this next election cycle. I mean, she's already giving them cause.
Yes.
To be removed from office. So that might happen sooner than we expect. Well, welcome to another episode of Unsanctioned Florida. Our last show was the Unsanctioned special that we had. We have an update on that for you. We have a ton of great news for you and some not so good news. But at the end of the day, you need to know it all, right? So let's do a quick prayer and get right to the show. Lord, we're truly grateful to live in this great state, free state of Florida. We can hope that you continue to keep it free, that you continue to inspire our leaders to keep it free. There's a lot of things, a lot of conversations going on right now that we need your help, and only your inspiration is going to lead to a good conclusion. So we pray that you just insert yourself in the heart of all the people that are leading this state, and more importantly, in the heart of all the citizens who, at the end of the day, are responsible for holding them accountable. In your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. All right, let's get into it, John. All right, John. So starting off this show, Governor DeSantis is introducing a new charter school system here in the state of Florida based out of New York.
Governor Ron DeSantis made a stop in South Florida this morning. He was at Florida International University, where the focus was on education. CBS News Miami's Morgan Reiner is live at FIU, where the governor just wrapped up. Morgan.
Hey, so the governor today announced that a new charter school program system is going to be opening up here in Florida. It's a system based out of New York called Success Academy. So today here at FIU, the governor spoke about how this charter school system, Success Academy, has been incredibly successful in New York, helping poor kids in inner cities. DeSantis said that starting with Miami-Dade, Success Academy is going to be opening up new schools, and they will take over underperforming transforming schools through a program called Schools of Hope, which allows charter schools to operate within public school spaces. The funding for this, in part, is coming from Citadel. He donated, the founder of Citadel, $50 million. Now, DeSantis also said this is possible because of school choice, and that 70% of students in Miami-Dade choose to go to a school other than their neighborhood school. And he said Success Academy is going to give parents even more options.
We believe, regardless of where you're from, regardless of how much money your parents have, regardless of your ethnic heritage, regardless of whether you're male or female, that you have an ability to succeed. I think it's healthy that schools compete for students. I think it's healthy that a school is going to be in a situation where if a charter school is offering better programs and the parents and they're losing students to that, then they're going to have to do something to earn the trust of those parents back.
Now, Success Academy says that they hope to be up and operational by the 2027-2028 school year. But DeSantis said here at the press conference that if we're back here in 5 years, he expects that there will be multiple Success Academies open, not just here in Miami-Dade, but Broward as well, and across the state of Florida. I'm live in West Miami-Dade. Morgan Reiner, CBS News, Miami.
All right, very interesting, John. You know, we definitely like choice when it comes to schools. Don't know much about this system, the success system out of New York, but I think that the situation in our schools, especially right now, and we're seeing it, and you know it better than anybody, we definitely need these choices and alternatives.
I think that it's no one can say that competition has not made something better, right? Competition in any environment, in any industry, in any situation makes it better and makes all parties better. Now, public schools, there's no other alternative school system that can compete with what public schools have. They can't have stadiums the way that they do, right? That's a big draw.
Yeah.
They can't have the programs. They can't compete on special needs situations. So the public school system is always going to be around, and it's always going to have students. At the end of the day, I think what we're trying to figure out is what should those public schools look like? And they can't compete because they don't have the money. They can't, like all those other institutions, they have to make money, right? They have to stay solvent. The public school system does not have to stay solvent. They get money every year as if their customer base is growing every year, regardless of their performance. Osceola County is a great example. Osceola County was terrible. When we had the superintendent, Deborah Pace, here, these schools were horrendous. What was going on in these schools was horrendous. This was a S show. I did not, even as a school board member, I could not put my own kids in those schools. So
Yeah.
It's just this is an overarching problem that goes from coast to coast in our country. How do public schools regain the confidence that they have lost? And I think that there's a lot of stories tonight that we're going to talk about are part of that. Part of it is also opening up the system. A lot of these big school districts and small school districts are losing money to charter schools. They're losing money to private schools. They're losing money to micro schools, which is a whole new concept coming up, like the small red houses type of schoolhouses. It's a crazy situation right now. And it's good because even as a school board member, what I used to say is we need innovation. This model, this 250-year-old model of education is not working for this country anymore. And we need to go to the next level. We can't just incorporate AI or technology or whatever we're doing. We need to completely change the model. And I think that that's happening now. Everybody's kind of reanalyzing what it takes to make a good educational product. And that's what we should be doing, is fighting to see who can deliver the best education product to the families, to the American family.
Absolutely, John. And I'm glad to see that Florida's kind of leading the way with this. So good thing.
Yeah, they absolutely are.
All right. So the Trump Presidential Library is one step closer to becoming a reality. And it's going to end up probably in Miami, John, or at least it looks that way.
All new at 6. Tonight, a Donald Trump presidential library in downtown Miami is one step closer to being approved.
Now, this morning, the Board of Trustees of Miami-Dade College voted to transfer a downtown parking lot to the state, a parking lot by the historic Freedom Tower right in downtown Miami on Biscayne Boulevard. CBS News Miami's Peter Dench is joining us live from that spot. And Peter, you spoke with the vice chairman of the school's Board of Trustees. What did they tell you?
That's right, Elliot. Well, first off, we can tell you right off that this is the parking lot right here at Northeast 6th Street and Biscayne Boulevard, and this is where the Trump Presidential Library could stand one day. Now, the vice chairman of the Miami-Dade College Board of Trustees told me the vote was unanimous to make this happen.
And I think that means a lot to this community, and that we'll be able to host a presidential library right here in the heart of downtown Miami.
Robert Alonzo says that's why he and 6 other board members with Miami-Dade College voted to transfer this parking lot of about 2.5 acres to the state for a Donald Trump presidential library right next to the Freedom Tower.
I think it's very exciting. I mean, how many communities get the opportunity to have a presidential library?
Alonzo's mother and father actually were processed at the Freedom Tower when they came here from Cuba in 1963. In a post on Facebook, State Attorney General James Othmeyer called the Freedom Tower Ellis Island South.
Back in the 1950s, Cuban families arrived here fleeing the terrors of communism. This location serves as a symbol of freedom, a beacon of liberty for the rest of the country. Immediately adjacent to the Freedom Tower is the land that the state would like to set aside, land that we hope will one day house the presidential library of President Donald J. Trump.
Othmeyer also posted that the Florida cabinet next week will vote on dedicating the land as a site for the library.
I'm voting yes. Florida will be blessed to house the presidential library for one of our very own state residents and to be a part of preserving such meaningful history.
But some Miami-Dade College students like Jocelyn Tellis say they would oppose such a library.
It's not going to be true, unbiased educational material that is backed by science. It is not going to be diverse. It is not going to be progressive, and it's going to set us back.
It's not about political values or ideologies. It's about the office of the president, and something that will be here in Miami for our students, our community to go visit and to learn more about the office of the presidency.
Now, Alonzo told me he has limited details at this point about what would be in that library. He said that Governor Ron DeSantis sent a letter to the school requesting that the transfer of land be made. So he is indeed heavily in favor of this. The state cabinet will take its vote on the issue on Tuesday of next week. We are live in Miami. Peter Dench, CBS News.
All right. So, yes, of course, they had to go talk to a student who herself has never been in a library. So, it's not going to be progressive enough. It's not going to be unbiased enough, according to this student.
Is this where Trump wants it, I wonder? So here's the good thing, the good and the bad. Number one, obviously, this is not where he lives. I don't think that Trump has a connection with Miami. At least I was wondering, what's the connection with Trump and Miami? But there is one, actually, between prep and now I thought of one. And he basically smoked the Democrats in Miami, which was not a stronghold, right? He converted these. So it has multiple different things, different points of meaning. One, they were talking about this people who fled from communist Cuba, right? So it's like it's next to the Freedom Tower. That he had more Hispanic voters than any other Republican candidate in history. It was like a lot. There's a lot of different things. So you could say, okay, so Miami is like the birthplace of this new Republican outlook that he brought, of his base that he created. So it could be said that. I think that Trump would like it for it to be in a huge city so that millions of people walk past it every day, right? Just like knowing how Trump is, that he would want that.
Yeah.
And he would prime real estate is meaningful to him. So, if they put it like in Palm Beach, I don't think that it's going to nearly have the same meaning. Although they could have put it somewhere, but they could have found a beautiful like Rollins College or some beautiful campus or whatever. But
right.
I don't know. And I hope that girl's 100% right. I hope all the things that she mentioned is absolutely true. So I hope it's the furthest thing from progressive in the world. I thought that was hilarious, but
Absolutely. I don't even get that. It has to be a progressive library. I don't even are there such things? I mean, really?
it's ridiculous.
But
I mean,
knowing Trump, he probably would have wanted it in a perfect world in New York City.
Yeah.
You know what I
bet
mean?
That's exactly where he would have wanted it.
If New York City wasn't a socialist mecca like it is now, I mean, or it's definitely about to be if they vote for Mamdani there. So,
yeah. Miami's one of the largest cities in the country, and clearly it has, it's very close to where he lives, right? Where he's going to spend most of his time.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. And also, it's there's a Republican constituency in Miami where there is not really a Republican constituency in New York.
Yeah. No, not even close. Not even close. Yeah. All right, John. So Florida lawmakers are going to meet soon to discuss property taxes, not exactly eliminating them, but reducing them.
Florida state lawmakers will start debating how best to lower or eliminate property taxes on Monday. I'm Yona Gavino in for Tanika Hughes.
And I'm Ben Becker. Action News Jack's state and local government reporter Jake Stofan is live on the south side. And Jake, Florida Tax Watch presented 5 possible ways to move forward.
And none of those options would immediately eliminate all property taxes, which is something the governor has called for. Instead, Florida Tax Watch is looking at either targeted property tax elimination or a long-term phase-out. State lawmakers say they're committed to giving voters the opportunity to approve property tax relief next November. What that looks like, though, is still to be determined. Florida Tax Watch is tossing a handful of options on the table that range from a steady phase-out of property taxes over the course of 10 to 30 years to immediate property tax elimination for all seniors over the age of 65.
Each option has significant benefits, like incentivizing homeownership, but all come with substantial trade-offs that require local governments to analyze current budgets and community needs and institute strong fiscal policies and management to ensure critical government services are delivered without merely shifting the burden to non-homestead properties.
At least one state lawmaker has also developed a proposal that would replace property taxes with new fees and sales taxes.
Yeah.
Those fees would be applied to ride-sharing trips, Airbnb rentals, and hotel stays for visitors to the state. A 3% sales tax would also be implemented to make up for lost school revenues.
We do have to talk about revenue replacement.
Yulee State Representative Dean Black is serving on the Special Committee on Property Tax, which is
That's
set to
not a good
kickstart
sign
its work
there.
on Monday. We spoke with him over the phone as he was traveling home from an overseas trip. He says he's open to a wide range of possible options to address the growing burden of property taxes on homeowners, but agreed full immediate elimination without giving local governments an opportunity to adjust to a loss of $55 billion worth of revenue likely is not the way to go.
To do it responsibly, you need to figure out exactly what you're going to do with your property taxes and along what time scale, and give local governments a chance to get feedback from the public, from their constituents, and find out what they want.
Now, on the agenda for that first committee meeting Monday are several presentations on school taxes, existing property tax exemptions, and fiscally constrained counties. So this is obviously something homeowners across the state are going to want to keep an eye on over the coming months.
Yeah, well, it's a bad sign that Dean Black, they've put him, in charge of this committee. Yeah. And, listen to what the taxpayers want. We don't want property taxes. And that's what the governor said. No property taxes. But they're looking for every single way to avoid doing that. And this Florida Tax Watch, John, I took a look at their website. They say they're independent. But looking at it, it's like how childcare costs impact. It just seems very. It seems very to the left, John. I'll just say that.
I don't think that they're a independent organization at all. They might, technically be an independent organization. I don't think that they're trying to achieve what the Florida taxpayer is trying to achieve.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, if you're independent from that, then you're not independent. You're with the special interest.
Yes.
Right. And that's who exactly they are with. So, number one, you're 100% right. Dean Black is a joke of a legislator. It's a horrible person to have on there. He's basically a stooge to prevent it from happening. The good thing is that we do have Doug Bankson on there. Doug Bankson is a guy who will fight for the American family, and I pray that his voice is heard on that committee.
Yeah.
The problem with all of this is that the legislatures, the county commissioners, the special interests are all trying to avoid it. They're all trying to avoid this happening. So they know that the extreme amount of pressure, the amount of people that are clamoring for property tax relief is huge. It's huge. And they may not survive elections over this one issue. So eventually something has to come. They have to give something. But they're trying to give the least, most meaningless thing that they can so that they don't lose their jobs over it. So it's super important right now that the American family reach out to these legislators, let them know that none of this is good enough. And to seniors, that's great. Of course, seniors who pay for their houses for 30 years, and if you buy a house in your 30s, by the time that you pay your house off with a 30-year mortgage, you're a senior. So great, no more property tax for you. You also don't have any kids. But it really should be exactly that. If you don't have kids in school, that property tax should be gone. You should not have to pay that, right? You should be exempt. If you don't have kids, you should be exempt from that tax. If you have already paid off your house and you're still paying, that's pretty clear. You should not have that tax. There's all kinds of other things, but they're not putting them in. If they're going to piecemeal, then it's our job to make sure that they put in all the pieces that we want for everything. For me, for example, I would advocate if you're a combat veteran that you don't pay property taxes. If you are a cop, you should not pay property taxes. If you're a teacher, you should not pay property taxes. All these little bits and pieces should go in there if that's what they're going to do is try to carve out individuals. And I would be outraged if they try to create a sales tax or something else.
And that's the talk, John. That is the talk they're talking about. And you'll hear that later on. I think there's a segment where they talk about this, but that's what they're looking at. They're looking at new sales taxes, taxes on Airbnbs, taxes on hotels, taxes on Uber, rideshare services, just all new different forms of taxes to make up for the lost revenue.
The bottom line is they shouldn't.
No.
They don't need the taxes. They're already collecting a millage. If they double the number of houses, they're doubling the amount of millage. Then why do we need to expand more taxes?
Yeah.
30 years of taxes is not enough. If you're taking 30 years of property taxes from someone else, that's not enough. You need it in perpetuity. That's essentially it's slavery. Because you're working. And you're giving it all to Brandon Arrington. It's unimaginable. I can't see that the American citizen is going to do this forever, and that's why you're seeing it. And this is one of the reasons I love DeSantis. When DeSantis has nothing to lose and it becomes all about policy, I like his policy, and he's the one that would do it. This is like his last. Screw you to the people who have not supported him or who fought against him or abandoned him, like the legislature, right? Because they were all kissing his butt. And then, Donald Trump wins the primary. It looks like he's smoking DeSantis in the primary, and they all abandoned him, And so it was dumb. And the only reason they were with him was because they didn't want Trump, because they don't want those policies. But they also don't want policies like DeSantis. And they're looking at rolling back now things like the open carry and things like that. So this legislature is a joke. It really needs to get itself in order. And unfortunately, we just don't have backup with the Republican Party because they're just as corrupt, if not worse.
Yeah, they are terrible, John. It's a lot of the reason why we don't have a lot of the things that we've been wanting and asking for. This last legislative session was a complete, utter joke. And I don't expect anything different in this upcoming legislative session. I don't think anybody else does either. All right, John. So the Doge team's efforts here in the state of Florida, they're making them known now. And it seems that They are saying that Hillsborough County has wasted $279 million.
Hillsborough County, is their budget filled with hundreds of millions of dollars in wasteful spending? Florida's chief financial officer, Blaise Ngolia, thinks so. Today, he released some of the results of his State Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, task force findings. Let's bring in Fox 13's Aaron Mesmer, who shows us how the CFO thinks Hillsborough County is doing, and why at least one county leader is critical of the findings.
$278 million.
Florida Chief Financial Officer Blaise Ngolia says that amount, closer to $279 million, is what he considers wasteful spending by Hillsborough County.
The taxpayers of this county should be outraged.
During a news conference, Ngolia released initial results from the audit that the state's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, task force conducted in Hillsborough.
Since 2019, the Hillsborough County General Fund budget has increased by a total of $860 million.
He believes that's a bloated figure compared to the county's population, which increased by about 124,000 during that time. Ngolia thinks the budget can be significantly reduced by cutting a full millage off of property taxes. He says that would likely save homeowners hundreds of dollars a year.
And hopefully people can see that they're just using population growth as an excuse to increase the budgets.
Hillsborough is one of several municipalities being audited by state DOGE workers after Ngolia announced last month he was looking for waste, fraud, and abuse in local government spending. On Wednesday, he also accused Orange County and Jacksonville of having about $200 million in wasteful spending. However, the results released did not include any specific details.
It's very difficult to respond when there were no details given.
Hillsborough Commissioner Harry Cohen says he isn't convinced the county is guilty of excessive
I thought that was
overspending.
Barney Frank.
He says most of the general fund budget pays for public safety and infrastructure, but he wants to see a thorough report.
If there are examples of things that should be cut, show us what they are. And if 4 members of the board determine that a change needs to be made, it can be done very, very easily.
Ngolia says voters will now have to decide if they're okay with the way their local leaders are spending their money, and if they're not, they could vote to lower their property taxes in 2026. In Brandon, Aaron Mesmer, Fox 13 News.
Yeah, and they did say about $280 million in Orange County too, John.
Well, what is it going to be? I bet you per person, per capita, it's going to be higher in Osceola if they ever get around to it.
Yes.
I don't think that they want to. This is the most corrupt county. They're not ideological. They do whatever they're told. But if they were to come in here, they would easily find more waste here in Osceola County per capita than they would find in Orange or Hillsborough for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we have one glaring example, which is at Brownie Wise Park, or will be at Brownie Wise Park.
It's like a, it's like a huge beacon of corruption. It would call people that like corrupt people from across the universe would come and worship it. It's idiotic.
You know, $250,000 on this Pride mural or whatever they want to call it, memorial for the Pulse incident, when the Pulse incident didn't even happen here in Osceola County. And John, you did mention Brandon Arrington. A mutual friend who watches these things sent me something that just got approved at the Osceola County Commission. I just want to mention it real quick. We don't have a segment for it.
I can guess that it's got to be money going to his dad.
Yes. Another contract approved for Brandon Arrington's daddy. It's for $100,000 for Lake Marion boat ramp improvements.
Wow. He's an engineer, by the way. $100,000 for that. I wonder.
No.
I wonder. Listen, these jobs are given to them just to get them. I mean, Doge needs to get here quick.
Yes.
While there's still money in the bank for the county, because if they could give it to the Brandon's daddy and to these builders and sell the county everything to this, and to Brokeback Mountain Commissioner in District 5, I mean, they would do it. So they better get here quick.
Yeah. I'm hoping. I know a lot of us are hoping that they will come to Osceola. We'll see, though. We'll see. All right. So the wannabe assassin Mr. Ruth there was found guilty on all charges, John, and after the verdict was read, he tried to kill himself.
Guilty on all counts. Ryan Ruth could spend the rest of his life in prison for attempting to kill President Donald Trump last year on his West Palm Beach golf course. It was an intense scene inside of the federal courtroom as Ruth put a pen to his neck in an attempt to kill himself after that verdict was read. Cameras caught up with his daughter after that ordeal. Take a listen. A 59-year-old Ruth represented himself during the trial, and in closing arguments, both prosecutors and the defendant focused in on Ruth's intent. Prosecutors said that Ruth was stalking then-candidate Trump at the president's golf club, but never fired a shot. Ruth, in trial, claimed that the assassination was never going to happen, and therefore there was no intent. President Trump says he appreciates the verdict.
A president or even a person, you can't allow that to happen. And so justice was served, and we'll see what happens.
Ruth will be sentenced on December 18th.
All right, good. And, he defended himself in court, John. He said that since he never took the shot, it was never going to happen. Come on, and for the daughter, she's running along saying, I love you, Dad. She knew what her dad was up to. She saw the things he was doing. Didn't he go volunteer in Ukraine to fight and do all other kinds of crazy crap?
If that guy, no, can you hear me, Tom?
Yeah.
If that guy had fought, I want to make sure that this is. If I got a little notification saying that my mic went off and on. If he went and he fought in Ukraine, then the chances are he would have had an opportunity to shoot at the president then. The fact that this guy's never fought in anything.
I was going to say, John, if he was in Ukraine, I'd imagine he'd be dead already.
There's not, this guy's, he's not all that they make him out to be, I think. This is obviously some mentally ill person.
Yeah.
Right? He tried to kill himself with a pen, right, in court. And I don't know exactly what happened there, but obviously that didn't happen. It didn't turn out, it turned out the same way that his assassination attempt worked out. So there's nothing there.
Yeah, absolutely. And John, I lost your picture for a minute here. Are you still there? Yeah. Anyway, let me move to the next segment, and I'm going to try and bring you in again. But the state of Florida has decided to create a portal to report those with violent views. And this is based off of some of the craziness that's going on. All right, John's back. Oh, I don't know how I feel about this, but here's the story.
The state of Florida has created a new portal for people to report anyone with extreme violent views. The Attorney General says it's in response to the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
And he also said teachers will now be held to higher standards in Florida. CBS News Miami's Morgan Reiner explains how that portal will work.
The Attorney General emphasized that his office believes in freedom of speech, but he said that calling for violence is not protected by the First Amendment. Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer said something more needs to be done before a bad guy takes action.
Lately, we've seen political violence more so than ever.
Most recently, he points to the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, shot and killed while he was speaking at a university in Utah.
He literally would sit down on campuses and invite people to engage in discussion. You could ask him any question, and unfortunately, someone who disagreed with his ideology chose not to respond with discussion or debate.
So the state of Florida launched this portal, a streamlined place for people to report any threats or calls for violence they see online or in person.
And if we get a report of such threats, we will immediately refer them to our investigators, and we will work with law enforcement.
Mariana Scalacci believes the portal is a good idea.
We live in a crazy society, so I think that it's very, very important to report everything.
Carlos wishes it was around prior to Kirk's assassination.
May actually mitigate some of these risks of nuts like the guy who killed Charlie.
And in Monday's press conference, Uthmeyer said First Amendment aside, teachers are going to be held to a higher standard.
If you are going to create an unsafe learning environment that makes kids fearful, that makes parents fearful, you do not need to be in the classroom.
Like revoking a teacher's license, which they're hoping to do with one teacher in Clay County.
Specifically, she said, "This may not be the obituary we were all hoping to wake up to, but this is a close second for me."
The Attorney General added that filing a fake report is also illegal, and those cases will be investigated as well. In Miami Shores, Morgan Reiner, CBS News.
Like, I'm glad that the false reports will be prosecuted. That's a good idea. I just don't know how I feel about this in general. I mean, what happened to the police departments and them handling these things? I mean, I guess these reports will go straight to the Attorney General, and he will, or his office will make decisions on how they proceed with this stuff. But, you know, if it's just to get teachers fired and their licenses taken away, yeah, all right, I guess. I don't know, but I want to see the mental institutions reopen, and these people with these violent views that talk about, like that teacher saying, you know, about the obituary, put these people in there. They need some mental help, John. They need actual mental help.
Do we really? Here's the thing. I agree with you. I think it's going to be used by two main people. It's going to be abused by people against their enemies, right? People who have an enemy are going to use it by reporting them for something, to get harassed by the police. And then the other time it's going to be used by the government. It's going to be abused by a government agency of some sort to go after its own citizens, or whatever they deem, right? Can it be used in a sense that they deem someone to have extreme views? Are they going to come knocking at my door for unsanctioned? You know, I mean, I don't like it. I don't think it's necessary. As you said, we already have the cops. If people are reporting, you think that they're going to report to the state portal before they call 911 or before they call the policeman in their own community? If that's happening, that it shouldn't be, right? You should be able to call your own police agency, your local law enforcement officer, and report it to them, and then they should do the right thing. So, I mean, right now it's like, it's just that people don't have a ton of confidence in law enforcement right now. As much as we support law enforcement, people don't have confidence in law enforcement. And all this can be blamed on James Comey, who was recently indicted.
Yes.
Because it all started at the very top. If you can't trust the FBI, and you can't trust this one, we thought that the local law enforcement were the ones that messed up, and then the FBI would come and fix it, right? Like this big federal law enforcement agencies would hold them in check and hold them accountable and so on and so forth. And it's just not the case. You know, they were the worst, and our local law enforcement are much better. So, but this is now taking the worst parts of the federal law enforcement agencies, and now you're bringing it to the local. I don't think it's a good idea. I think that it's just going to be abused. It's going to be a waste of time. I mean, you don't need to report teachers. If you have a teacher that's crazy and suffering from mental illness, with so many of them exposed themselves during this whole Charlie Kirk thing, you can already do that by reporting them, their licenses, to the Department of Education.
Yeah.
So you don't need something else. You know, it's enough of the good ideas already. Just start executing the things that we got.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can always send off an email to the Attorney General's office or to your, your police, the school board, whatever, to report these people. You don't have to create a portal to do that, I guess. But anyway. All right, John. So we're going to move on to this story. This next story was not going to be picked up by the TV news media. It's more of a inter-party type story.
We've reported a lot on this.
Yes.
Reported a lot on this issue, and this came out. The minute that it came out, it happened. The RLC, which is the Republican Liberty Caucus of Florida, they basically took a picture with Evan Powell.
Yes, and
that
we're gonna
had shockwaves.
Yes,
it came with a release. The release was even worse than the picture. I don't know if that's true or not. The picture's pretty horrendous, but it sent shockwaves through the grassroots. On that same day, within an hour of it being posted, I got about 20 texts and calls complaining what's going on. Did I know anything? What do I think, et cetera, et cetera. And this here it is. That picture's horrendous, right? I'm not sure that you can get the picture, but
He should not wear a shirt like that, John.
he should. I mean,
in the center is the infamous Evan Power, the chair of the Republican Party of Florida. To his left, or to his right, is Karen Morton.
His name is Two Beers. So listen. Anyways, people got pissed.
Yeah.
And it's the release that is far worse than the picture, as I said, because basically the RLC is selling out their membership, their entire membership. We all know that the RPOF got into a huge war with the FRA, with grassroots. Everyone who was like a MAGA supporting conservative, they got purged from the party. So the only people that were left were people who may have been MAGA, but they were really loyalists to the party. All right. So if you were a loyalist to the party, you got to stay. And so these RECs turned into 5-member organizations across the state in each county, or they didn't know what was going on. People who were duly elected were removed from office and whatever. It was a horrendous battle.
Yeah.
Then the RLC, which was to this point had escaped unscathed, okay, they had not been marred, all of a sudden got marred. They took this picture, they sent out this release, and the release said that they were working with the RPOF, and everyone blew up. Their membership was extremely upset at the betrayal, and they still are. So then this gentleman here on the right is Dave Wallace, and Dave Wallace resigned. We had reached out to Dave. Dave asked for time to come on the show and talk about it. We have not been able to coordinate yet. I think for the next show, if he wants to come on, we'll let him come on and explain why he thinks this would been a good idea. But regardless, he resigned, so I didn't chase it down for this show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, why chase him down when he did resign? But he was recently elected. As soon as he was elected as chairman, he went straight to Evan Power and cut this deal and took this picture.
Idiotic move. There's no other way to describe it. And then I think that this is Morton, Karen Morton or Kathy Morton. I can't remember what her name is.
Yeah.
But I think that's the vice chair, and she's the interim chair now. And they sent out a correction, if you can call it that. But it just says that, okay, so the RLC did not charter without RPOF. But that's neither here nor there. The fact is they betrayed their membership. And so it just shows that these people, and listen, I hate to say it, but I'm beginning to think that this is an age thing, right? Who are the people who are the majority of the crazy people protesting for like abortion and all kinds of atrocities on the left? It's mostly people that are of advanced age, right? Yeah. And then you look here at the people who's betraying the Republican Party. People of a very advanced age, right? They're the ones that are doing, and it's just that they don't feel like fighting. I guess they feel like getting along, or they think this is the 1960s. It's not. The world has changed, and it's just they're not. Everybody who's younger than them is not with them in this. So I think that they used to see a government where the cooperation was far more than it is today. They saw Democrats, they saw Republicans be nice to each other, but they were betraying the American people, right? No. Now you see Republicans and Democrats fighting with each other, but they're still betraying the American people. As far as I'm concerned, we haven't gained or lost anything from them. The thing is to get them out. No. Get them out. And if what you want to do is extend the hand and make peace with the Republican Party, who just purged all of its grassroots members because they were disobedient to the party chair, this guy right here who apparently has no mirror, then you're wrong. You shouldn't be there either. And certainly these two people should not be leading the RLC. They shouldn't have anything to do with leadership in the Republican Party or with grassroots at all, because they clearly have no idea what they're thinking.
Yeah.
So it's just a shame. And it's a horrendous betrayal of grassroots in Florida.
It truly is, John. I mean, I don't know. I would like to know why David Wallace thought it was a good idea to take this decision without bringing it to the individual chapters first and saying, look, this is what I plan to do. Are we on board with this? Are we in agreement with this? He just went ahead and did it, and I think that's a lot of the outrage that's coming from these individual chapters is the fact that he took this decision.
Don't want it. They don't want it. They don't want to work with. I mean, a lot of people left the party and went to the RLC or the FRA. They do not want to be associated with the RPOF. They don't. This may surprise a lot of these people who have been getting into bed with these corrupt bastards. But there are some people who don't want to be in bed with the RPOF or with corruption. It's that simple. There's a lot of Americans, the people who are young, who are finding God, people who are now coming back to Christ after all this time. There's people who are reviving their spirituality. There's people who are learning more and faster about what's really going on in the world. They want nothing to do with the corruption. They don't want to get in bed with pigs. So why would you force them to as their leader?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a disservice to the organization. It ruins their credibility and their reputation, and it betrays the membership. And they should be tarred and feathered. This kind of betrayal deserves tarred and feathering, in my opinion. It's a horrendous act on their part. Now, I just want to say that it's not like, again, I don't think that anybody's worthy of. I don't know. These might be fine people. They might be the greatest people in the world. They might be the nicest people. They might everything for someone that they don't know. Who knows? Everything. They might be the greatest Christians on the planet, but they did betray all their members. And instead of coming to reality, one of them quit, right, without making a statement, right, the contrary to what he did.
Yeah.
And then the other one took over, and she basically doubled down on what their actions are. So, I mean, you can't really. I mean, it doesn't leave room to assume the best of these people.
No.
So I don't know. I mean,
John, what do you think that the RLC gave up to the RPOF? Because they're saying that they're not chartering under the RPOF, but they had to have given up something.
Yeah, here's what they gave them right off the bat. They gave them a huge PR victory. The RPOF is reeling. No matter what, they might have fought this lawsuit with the FRA to a stalemate. They might have survived, obviously. Evan Power is still, two-fisting beers. Everything is normal for them. But the bottom line is that the Republicans at the grassroots, the Republicans on the street, the ones who are involved, the ones who have been making phone calls, donating money, etc., they hate Evan Power and the RPOF. They hate Bill Helmick and the RPOF. And they gave them this RLC action, gave them credibility that they had lost over the last several years.
Yeah,
it gave them back. It gave them the appearance that they were making grounds with the grassroots. It would, if somebody saw this headline, you would think, oh well, they talked to their 1,000 members, and their 1,000 members apparently are ready for a reunification of these things. But that's just not the case.
No,
the membership does not want that. The membership does not want this at all. The membership feels much more aligned with the FRA than they feel with RPOF.
Yeah.
The membership is far more aligned with the people who have been purged from RPOF than with the RPOF. So why would you betray those people? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So what did the RPOF get out of it? The RPOF, the only thing that they got out of this, in my opinion, I don't know what deals they made, but the only thing that they got out of it, in my opinion, on the surface at least, is this PR victory that says that, oh, well, apparently some Republicans are going back. And then sometimes that makes the weakest ones of us want to go back to the party. And that's just not the case. The sentiment is not there. The sentiment for the Republican Liberty Caucus. We saw the reaction.
Yeah.
Right? The reason that the president got basically thrown out in the street, even though that the executive committee wouldn't vote for it, but he had to leave. He had to resign. Why? Because people were outraged. And people are going to be just as outraged with this ridiculous correction, quote unquote. And it's just an embarrassment to them, and it just shows that they're not the conscience. They called themselves the conscience of the Republican Party. They're no longer. Now they're a conscienceless less. Okay, they're no longer the conscience of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
So it's just a shame, and it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And the FRA calls themselves the conscience of the Republican Party too. It's funny to me that the Republican Party of Florida doesn't want to have a conscience, and they've proven that the last few years.
That's the disqualifying factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of course, it's their mission. Their job is to elect Republicans. Now, the Republicans that they elect, and here's the thing, like a lot of people are like, well, what do you expect from them? Their job, they just elect Republicans. But you get to pick the Republicans that you elect.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the bastards who are the most corrupt. Okay? It doesn't have to be the Dean Blacks. It doesn't have to be the Perez's. These feckless, Miami boy Republicans. It doesn't have to be that. Okay? It can be like people who are of high moral character. It can be people who have ethical standards. It can be people who are honest.
Yeah.
It can be people who won't steal from us. And it's just for some reason the Republican Party, they can't do that. Why? Because they were all raised. Listen, I know a lot of people who know Evan Power. Right? A lot of these people, Evan Power has been there for a long time. He used to be a guy that used to have to bring knee pads to work. Okay, that's who Evan Power was. The go get coffee boy. He was the joke. There was nothing, but he stayed there for a long time. He proved that he has zero ethical standards, zero morals, and then he made it to chair because of that. Even by stabbing the former chair in the back.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just it's just all, they're fake. They're no longer representing, which is why I think that is the death of the Republican Party is coming in the near future. They are tied to the Democrat Party. They're tied together. And the Democrat Party, as you know, is practically irrelevant at this stage.
Yeah.
In Florida, at least.
Yeah.
Right? They don't even, they
In
barely
small
exist.
pockets, it's still
Small pockets. They only exist because the Republican Party allows them to, so that they can blame things on.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have an enemy. Right? Otherwise, then it's going to be like Republican versus Republican, and you only have the primary. They don't want that.
And that's already happening here in the state of Florida. So I mean,
yeah, that's exactly why they kicked everybody out. That's
No.
why they kicked everybody out, because the Democrat Party was irrelevant, and then the whole race became two Republican versus Republican. Who do we pick? The guy who's honest, or a dirtbag like Two-Fister Bud Light? Right? So okay, well, certainly we don't want Two-Fister Bud Light.
No.
And they couldn't have that. So in order to remove that, they keep the Democrats alive in Florida, and then they kick everybody out who is conservative.
Yeah. John, one thing we didn't talk about was open carry now in the state of Florida. And we
Yeah.
didn't really have a story about that or anything, but what are your thoughts on open carry now in the state of Florida?
I mean, it's great. Now, listen, there's a lot of sheriffs who have come out. They were supportive. A lot of sheriffs who came out like lukewarm. There's a lot of
Yeah.
sheriffs that wanted to look like they were supporting it, but they don't really support it.
Right.
Judge Grady out there in Polk County, right? Everybody thinks he's a big hero, but the guy does not like open carry. He's also a red flag guy. So, here's what I think. Number one, it's the law of the land. As of right now, you can open carry in Florida. And you still can't carry in the places you could not carry before.
Yeah.
It's just wherever you could carry before, you can now carry open. That's the difference. Now, the legislature is already discussing how they can roll back open carry. So if you care about that, you better move on it. I carry. I'm almost always carrying. So I don't always open carry, right? Just because I have a habit of concealing now because I've been carrying for so long. But there are some places I would open carry.
Yeah.
Now, if you are open carrying, here's the thing. Do not be a jerk about it, because somebody will take your gun out of your possession, and hopefully they don't use it against you.
Yes.
So that's a very important thing that you have to consider. If you're going to open carry, then your head has to be on a constant swivel. You have to be aware of what's behind you, what's in front of you, what's to your sides at all times. So unless you have like PTSD, it's not the most convenient way to carry. So I'm a supporter of open carry 100%, but I'm a supporter of open carry for me, right? Because I know I can open carry responsibly. I can open carry with confidence. And if you can't, then don't. Make sure that you're carrying to the level that you can. Make sure that you are paying attention, and that you have to be twice as responsible with your weapon if you're going to open carry.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've seen some liberals online blaming an incident that happened today, John, at Exit 244 here in the St. Cloud, Kissimmee. A car road rage incident. A guy got shot at merging off the turnpike exit or entrance there.
I mean, that's not open carry, obviously.
No, but liberals had to insert that in the argument,
Yeah. So I mean, that has nothing to do with it. And it's the problem is that they don't know what open carry is, and you got to know. If you don't know anything about guns, Don't talk about gun laws. You just don't know. If you don't know how they're changed now, you can't be shooting randomly into cars because of open carry. And if you see something like that happening, that's not. Chances are that guy's carrying an illegal weapon. The vast majority of cases, if somebody's committing a crime with a gun, it's somebody who's not supposed to have a gun to begin with.
Yeah.
Very
absolutely.
rarely does somebody with a legal gun get into a problem with their gun.
Yeah. And always remember, if you point a gun at another human being, it's a felony. So
yeah, you better watch out. Don't be. But again, right? A lot of people who are going to be open carry, right? If you do that, you should not have a gun to begin with.
Right.
If you've got to know the law, because and listen, let me say this to you. This is a little bit of seriousness here. Normally I make jokes about this kind of stuff, but I'm not going to. One of the most common things, okay, and this is not an open carry issue because it's just gun owners have popped themselves in these situations. You're thinking, I'm going to bring out my gun. Right now is a good time. I have these conversations with guys all the time who carry. But it's like, okay, is now a good time to bring out my gun? I'm in a road rage incident, okay? Do I flash my gun? The answer is no. You don't flash your gun, okay? And it's not just a legal thing. It's a gun action thing. If you flash your gun, but you don't have the intent to use the gun, the person who you're flashing a gun to might have a gun also. And if you flash a gun at them, then they may respond not just by flashing their gun, but with bullets. And then that puts you in a situation where you're on the defensive end of a gunfight, which is, it's always better to be on offense. So if you pull out your gun, it should only be because you have the intent to shoot already. Don't pull your gun out. Don't pull your gun out and the gun is not for a show. It's not, it's not like a knife. It's not to brandish. It's not to show off. It's a gun. And if you're going to shoot somebody, you need to be thinking 5 steps ahead, not 5 steps behind.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, John, no commercial tonight. We're going straight to Central Florida. All right, John. So, like we talked about a little bit earlier, the Doge team is releasing their findings. They did cite Orange County with the $280 million worth of waste, but Jerry Demings is out there defending Orange County spending.
I'm your community correspondent, Laverne McGee in Orlando, where the Orange County government says they know how expensive housing is getting. So look behind me. This is where they're spending a couple of $1 million to build an affordable housing apartment complex.
The CFO criticized Orange County for its budget and the use of taxpayer dollars. Well, we couldn't have created the Housing Trust Fund if we didn't pull it from somewhere. We didn't get it from the state of Florida. We got zero to assist with those efforts.
Mayor Jerry Demings says this new housing project would not be possible without a local housing trust fund that Orange County created back in 2019. These piles of dirt and sand will one day be a place for some people to call home. A groundbreaking was held this morning for Ivy Flats here at 30 South Ivy Lane in West Orlando, partially funded by taxpayer dollars. By the time this construction is over, there'll be 137 new units here.
This initiative, we are allocating $2.1 million.
The developer and other partners like the City of Orlando will pick up the rest of the cost. According to Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer,
affordable housing continues to be one of the most complex challenges that our community faces. And it's not just our community, really, it's a nationwide issue.
So how is the City of Orlando trying to fix the problem? Well, they're trying to increase the city's housing stock by working with developers, modernizing zoning, streamlining approvals, and offering incentives like fee waivers for developers. The City of Orlando is getting $1.6 million in transportation, parks, and school impact fees. As for those who will benefit the most,
we're going to continue growing this type of housing opportunity for seniors and for low-income families.
residents earning at or below 80% of the area's median income are eligible to live here when it's complete. In Orlando, your community correspondent Laverne McGee, News 6.
First of all, John, shame on Channel 6 for putting out this puff piece for Jerry Demings. That's all this was. The Doge team is looking at the DEI programs that Orange County is spending money on, not on low-income housing. And by the way, this housing project, they said it was on Ivy Lane. Ivy Lane is known as one of the most dangerous sections of Orlando. That is a place you don't want to go at night, and anybody will tell you that's lived in the area that it's a very scary place. So I'm sure they took those flags with them when they left, because they wouldn't disappear.
I think it's crazy that they would, for some reason, Democrats love to build ghettos. They love to build ghettos. That's what they love to. The government should not be building housing. The government should not be involved in development. They should not. The government should not be involved in building jobs. The government should be involved in one thing and one thing only, whatever the Constitution says they should be doing, right? Whatever the voters tell them to do. And this is not what the voters are telling them to do. It's just, why don't you get out of the way so that private industry can go in and do the things that it does? Because that makes families richer, that creates better jobs, that creates more opportunities to find better place to live. Even the people who live near Ivy Flats aren't going to want to live in Ivy Flats, right? It's going to take 1 year for them to turn this building into a ghetto, right? Because they're not changing anything. All they're doing is putting up a building. And here's the difference between the ghettos in New York City and this ghetto here, is that this ghetto that they're building is made out of wood and fiber wood. It's going to last about 3 years before it's completely a disaster. This is dumb. This is dumb. This is not what they should be doing. For me, this is a waste of taxpayer money, and Doge should have been addressing this problem, because this is not the role for government. The government should not be doing this. And Demings, is it just me? Demings looks tired and bored of his job, right? I mean, he's like moving around, his eyes like this. He's like, he doesn't want to be doing it. I thought he was Stevie Wonder for a minute. He has no interest at all. But you know what? Number one, he's running for higher office in the next election.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's tired. He's tired of Orange County. He's running for something higher. And number two, he's just trying to hang on to not be destroyed by the CFO. And the CFO needs to make its way south to Osceola County. I'm going to mention that every single time.
Yeah.
You can never trust that they're really doing anything until they come to Osceola County. Otherwise, it's just all talk.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of it too, John, is that he knows that Doge they've got him. They've got him.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of like, anyway.
He just looks bored.
Yeah.
He looks bored and tired of being there. He's only there because he has to,
Yeah. I mean him and his wife have made millions of dollars since they've been in elected office. I'm sure he's ready to go enjoy his money. So,
yeah.
Yeah. All right, so top of the show, we played that one video where James Uthmeyer was going after Monique Worrell, and here's another situation he's going after her about, a guy masturbating in front of children at a splash pad.
Back to back, the Florida Attorney General and the Orange and Osceola state attorneys' war of words over child predator cases. I'm Catherine Silver in Orlando. We're looking at the claims on both sides.
When it comes to these dangerous child predators, there's only one thing to do: prosecute to the fullest.
Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer didn't just call out State Attorney Monique Worrell at the podium. He sent this letter to her office Friday, accusing her of neglect of duty and incompetence. The AG claims that Worrell's office, quote, declined to prosecute a 61-year-old man accused of touching himself at an Apopka splash pad.
There was video evidence of this, witness testimony, a father there with his 2-year-old just feet from this offender.
He was charged with exhibition, and last week, Worrell's office filed this document that states the case is not suitable for prosecution.
The law is very clear and I didn't write it.
Worrell gave this explanation as to why the evidence didn't support the statute as written. She provided the case notes from the attorney assigned to the matter who spoke to the child's father.
He confirmed that the child did not see anything and wasn't aware of what was happening. And I'm not standing before you today telling you that what happened in that park was wrong. But I am standing before you today telling you that I trust the word of the attorney who was assigned to this case when he said, although those actions were wrong, he could not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they were illegal.
Worrell said she received the letter with the Attorney General's claims minutes before answering our questions Friday. She was removed from office by the governor in 2023 and was reelected last year.
To suggest that I have non-prosecution policies on the books. These claimed policies simply do not exist and are made to mislead the public and distract from the real work of keeping our communities safe.
At the end of the day, we have to protect our kids.
The Attorney General also said his office is now handling a child pornography case that was dropped. Worrell says it wasn't let go, it was transferred. She says that's standard practice when there's a multi-jurisdictional offense. I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
Unbelievable. She was removed from office in the first place because she wasn't trying cases, John. She was getting rid of cases.
And she refused to use the death penalty.
Yes, and now you're seeing a repeat of the same thing. Yes, she'll go after a woman on Stand Your Ground when she was defending herself, but this guy is masturbating in front of kids at a splash pad. Well, there's nothing he did illegal there, John.
No, there's nothing wrong, she said. I'm not here to tell you that there was anything wrong with what he did. That's just crazy talk. I mean, she needs to go. She needs to go. I mean, all these Soros people need to go. If they're having an association with Soros, you know that they're not there to keep the community safe.
No.
And she needs to go. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Here's the thing. They need to make sure that we have a realistic electoral solution to these types of problems. But again, what did the RPOF do? I mean, what did the state do here? They put in, they took her out. They put in somebody else. They ran that person as an MPA. They had a Republican run, and then that Republican said that they were going to get out, volunteer to get out, or something like that. Well, another Republican who was in the primary got pissed. I mean, that's not how you win elections. The Republican Party should be like burnt to the ground and raised up again in a different image. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't want to say they purposely lost this seat, but they did lose this seat. But I also blame the Orange and Osceola County voter because they are so stupid. And yes, she is Orange and Osceola because she is in the Ninth Circuit. They continue to put these people in office. Her, Darren Soto, all the bad guys and establishment figures we have here in Osceola County, they just keep getting elected, and it's you, voter. You're the one who puts them in office. So please do better. True. Please do better.
At the end of the day, that's this country is the way it is because of the voter.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys got to do better here. And obviously you see this woman, we've told you, and other people have told you, she is a Soros puppet. She doesn't try certain cases. She tries cases that she doesn't like she doesn't like it if you stand your ground and defend yourself. She doesn't like that. But if you're out there and you're a pervert, that's okay. That's something that they can't prove you did anything wrong.
If you're basically if you are
just unbelievable.
If you are a victim of a crime, this is not the person that you're going to get justice from.
No.
But if you are a crazy person, and you're committing crimes, if you're Antifa, you're out there doing whatever, you're BLM, you're out there doing anything crazy, you'll be fine. You're not, you don't have, there's no price to pay. And that's her MO.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, John. So Seminole County, if you live in Seminole County, watch out because your property taxes are about to go up by quite a bit.
If you own a home in Seminole County, this story impacts you. Property taxes are going up for the first time in 16 years.
As West 2's David Jones reports, the county says it's been tightening its belt.
But we were sitting here to make tough decisions. We really were. It's uncomfortable.
Seminole County says it's necessary to raise property taxes more than 6.5% and acknowledges the move is unpopular.
Your eyes are bigger than your stomachs and our wallets.
As a new homeowner here, I was attracted to buying here because of its affordability, and I think just increasing the millage rate is going to decrease the attractiveness of buying in this county.
I value this county and willing to contribute not only what you're asking, but even more to sustain the quality of life, the natural resources, and our infrastructure.
The market value of policing has adjusted.
Seminole County Sheriff Dennis Lima's budget is responsible for the bulk of the budget changes year over year. His budget ask going up to more than $195 million. Go back to 2022, the budget was just over $153 million. Lima says it's due to increased competition to recruit, both with other jurisdictions and with the private sector, as well as retirement cost increases.
Nobody's coming into this business and doing 30 years any longer. Because with those credentials, we train them to forensically examine computers and fly helicopters, and they go out into the private sector and make 6 times the amount of money that they can make serving their community.
The final result is an increase on taxpayers starting October 1st. Residents would have to pay an additional 50 cents per $1,000 of taxable value on their property. Covering Seminole County, David Jones, West 2 News.
Yeah, it's a little bit ridiculous what the sheriff there is saying.
Listen, I get it. It's tough to be a cop. They have to pay them more. All these counties are competing for them. Seminole County's not Osceola. Where would you rather be a deputy, in Osceola or Seminole County?
No.
Seminole County. All these cops are going to go to Seminole. You don't have to. You don't have to pay the same. People would prefer to be in Seminole versus Osceola County. Right? You can't have a bunch of morons as your county commissioners in Osceola and not chase them away. Their competitive situation is already better, and you could pay them better. But obviously, there's tens of millions of dollars every year of increases in budget. It's just, you got to be able to manage it. This is on them.
Yeah.
If your budget increases 10% every year, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And you can, I think, what was it? It was a $195 million budget. That's not cheap. That's way more than the budget in Osceola County, and Osceola County has about the same number of people.
Yeah. God only knows what they're doing with that money. Oh, wait, John, we have a good idea what they're doing with that money because Seminole County approved a $11.5 million funding for Sunrail, John.
I'm your community correspondent, Angie Casada, and for some daily commuters, the Sunrail is a lifeline. But now that city and counties will be taking over, some are worried that local control could mean higher costs and more red tape. Every morning, Sidney Smith catches Sunrail in Seminole County, riding to his job in Orange County.
I think it's huge. I heard a guy talking, I normally take it most mornings. He was saying, I used to drive an hour and now I get to work an hour, and I do the similar thing.
Starting next year, the state hands operations over to Seminole, Orange, Osceola, and Volusia counties, along with the city of Orlando. Each will pay a share based on ridership. Seminole's bill is projected $11.5 million.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me pull that back, John, because we look at what each county is paying into this real quick.
Each will pay a share based on ridership. Seminole's bill is projected.
There we go. So, yes, City of Orlando, $18.7 million they're going to contribute to Sunrail. Orange County, so, basically Orlando, another $14.5 million. Jesus. Osceola County, $12 million. Seminole County, $11.6 million. Volusia County, $6.7 million.
$11.5 million.
How is it going to impact me as a commuter? Is my cost of ticket going to go up? Are my taxes going to go up? How are they going to end up paying for it?
Volusia will be about $6.5 million next year, but forecasted to increase each year. And Orlando's share is the highest at $18 million. Residents like Smith rely on affordable transit and hope local leaders can keep costs on track.
Because there's so many different parties being involved in what's going into the train process, the different counties. Everyone's not going to agree on the even scheduling of it overall, so it can cause a lot of trouble when there's a lot of heads at the table.
Reporting in Sanford, I'm Angie Casada, News 6.
You know, News 6, the reporter there says right off the bat that this is a lifeline for so many residents. But every single shot that they have coming from the Sunrail station, it is a complete, utter ghost town. There is not a single person in sight. They found that one guy. They started talking to him. But every other shot, you see it's a complete ghost town. What are your thoughts, John? My thoughts are if this thing can't pay for itself, then it should be done. But we're going to keep pumping money into this. It's just ridiculous.
Well, I mean, okay, so they said that it was 50 cents per $1,000 that they were increasing in Seminole County for this, right? To pay for $20 million in increase in budget for the sheriff. That's what, $2,000? So $2,000 more a year for each person to pay for the sheriff, but they got $12 million to pay for Sunrail. I mean, and there were dozens of people. How many people ride the Sunrail? Dozens of. It's not hundreds. It's not thousands. It's like dozens.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
I mean, I've been on it a handful of times, and there have been dozens of people on the train. So I ride it from here to downtown Orlando. It's the only place I've ever gone. No, to Winter Park actually, which is Seminole County, right?
Yeah.
It is dozens of people. I mean, it's not a lot of people. $12 million over all those dozens of people, even the people who ride it every day. I don't know. I mean, it's got to make economic sense. The city, the county of Osceola, the county of Seminole, the county of Volusia, they have a responsibility to their taxpayers. And they haven't made a case for why this is a valuable spend.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, transportation, that would be okay. That would be in their arena. I'm not offended by them going, but what is the financial case for this? How many people are you helping? Who are you helping? And is it worth the $12 million?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to make a case for it.
Yeah, and this thing has never turned a profit, John. And this is what happens when government runs an entity. It never makes a profit. They just keep pouring money into it. It never. You saw the screen. It was million. Yeah, it was millions of dollars from like tens of millions of dollars from like 6 different counties or entities, and you know, almost $30+ million from just Orange County and Orlando alone. It's just unbelievable, John. And this is an entity that's never made a profit. Doesn't have a lot of ridership. I mean, not a lot of people are using this system. If it can't pay for itself, then maybe it just needs to go away. But they like having this and using this. We have a high-speed train system. It's not even that high. It's not. It's not even special like some of these like high-speed rails that they have over in like.
No, it's not a high-speed train.
No.
But. It's not okay. So it's not a bad thing. It's just there's no financial case for it.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's the problem. I mean, to have transit, it can be convenient, but it's a novelty.
Yeah.
And at this point, it hasn't been able to make since you haven't been able to make a financial case for it. It's just a novelty. So how much is it worth to have this novelty? Basically it's $1,000. What it equates to is $1,000 for each homeowner in Seminole County. So I guess if that's what, if it's worth it to you, it's the same thing here, right? It's $1,000 for each
unbelievable
homeowner here a year. Is that worth it to pay for this novelty?
I bet you that if you asked the majority of people, are you willing to give up $1,000 to keep the Sunrail going?
Yeah, they just never tell you what you're paying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, nobody would vote for it. It would be done. All right, John. So let's go back to Orange County for this one. Orange County School promoted witchcraft rituals. Unbelievable, John.
I'm Talisa Hampton, your West Orange County community correspondent. Many parents that I spoke with at West Orange High School say that video that has garnered this attention did not mean that much to them. However, those with Liberty Counsel say it's a video that should have never been shared in the first place.
As As parents at West Orange High School pick up their teens, there's also a discussion surrounding a video about witchcraft.
I think we can trust our families and our kids to make the right decisions.
This week, the legal group Liberty Counsel sent this
They
letter to
asked an
Orange County
actual
Public
witch,
Schools
John.
over the Witchy Wednesday video series at the high school.
Liberty Counsel was contacted by students, faculty, and staff after they encountered the Witchy Wednesday on the closed-circuit television system in the classroom. They were shocked by what they heard and saw.
The Liberty Counsel claims the high school video that aired during the mid-morning announcements made by students promoted religious instructions like gaining the light of insight, burning candles, spells, magic, and witchcraft rituals. Matt Staver with the council says they made their concerns clear and gave options for students who may have Christian beliefs.
We asked that those that wanted to opt out be allowed to opt out, and also that those who wanted a opposite viewpoint to be able to have the opportunity for students to do the same thing.
A response letter from the school district said the practice of airing the segments has been stopped because school sponsorship of a religious message could be construed as government speech and is not constitutionally allowed.
They should never open this closed-circuit TV to this kind of ideological issue that is totally unrelated to the school day or to the school function.
However, a parent we spoke with says the announcement didn't make her concerned.
It wouldn't bother me for my kid to hear it because I trust her to make the right decisions too. A school if it's a public school, needs to have separation of church and state, and the parents need to influence their home life decisions.
And school officials say this video has been stopped. Now, they also said in this statement that they and this legal group have the same goal, which is for students' First Amendment rights to be respected. Reporting in West Orange County, I'm your community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton.
This is crazy. You know that if that had been a Christian announcement, that woman would not have been, I'm talking about the witch in the interview, that she would not have been like, oh, just, I don't mind my daughter listening to this. You just got to,
That's
do whatever.
that's what I was about to say, John. How much do you want to bet that if it was a Christian announcement that came over that mother there in the car would have had a different reaction?
Yes, exactly. So I mean, this is, and it's crazy. Who allowed this person? To me, that's worthy of firing almost, like who would allow this person to make that announcement?
Yeah, who thought this was a good idea?
Because if it had been like, hey, we're gonna do this prayer group announcement, they would have said absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely no. We're not going to allow you to advertise that prayer because, we have students here who aren't Christian and we don't want to offend them and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just horrendous that they would allow this. And that is so offensive. I mean, it's horrendous. It really is.
Who thought this was a good idea? Where is that person? Let's drag them out. Let's make sure they lose their job because this is unreal. Who thinks this is a good idea?
I don't know who would have. It might have been a student who didn't get any permission to do it at all. Is what I'm imagining because I can't imagine a school administrator for 1 second thinking that would have been possible.
Oh, I can. We've seen a few of them, John, that adorn their classrooms with pride flags and all kinds of socialist propaganda,
even witchcraft stuff.
Yeah. They've allowed furries into the classroom and just unbelievable behaviors from these students. So it doesn't surprise me if an administrator thought this was a good idea and let them do this. So
yeah,
I don't know. All right, so Kissimmee, John, the Kissimmee Police Deputy Chief is now placed on leave. All going back to this one incident from 2023.
More about the Kissimmee Police Deputy Chief, who is now under investigation.
Wilson Munoz was placed on administrative leave related to a use of force incident that shook the agency in 2023. Watch News' Luana Munoz is in Kissimmee with the latest fallout.
Well, we now know that this investigation into Wilson Munoz is related to the Andrew Basagio case. Now, Chief Broadway said today that this is the final disciplinary step in that case. Kissimmee Police Deputy Chief Wilson Munoz has been placed on paid administrative leave. On Friday, Chief Charles Broadway sent a statement saying, quote, "I reaffirm our department's commitment to accountability, integrity, and transparency." Deputy Chief Wilson Munoz is currently the subject of an internal investigation, the final disciplinary matter related to the Andrew Basiago case. In 2023, Basiago was accused of entering a home without a warrant and using excessive force to take a man into custody that led to serious bodily harm. There was evidence that Basiago talked with witnesses about their testimony and falsified a report. He would later plead guilty in the case. The scandal surfaced when body cam footage showed officers allegedly lying about the incident. A grand jury accused the department of fostering a culture of silence where officer misconduct is accepted. That scandal led to the resignation of high-ranking members, including former police chief Betty Holland. Well, since then, Chief Broadway has worked to revamp the agency. In July, he took disciplinary action on several sworn officers, calling it a turning point.
Those who possibly lost trust in us, and to them, I would say give us some time. And I think that we will prove to you that this agency can be trusted, not just with my words, but with our actions.
As for Munoz, he joined the agency in July of 1999 and was named deputy chief in May 2023, just 1 month after the Basiago incident. On Friday, Chief Broadway says he remains focused on, quote, strengthening our department, serving with honor and professionalism, and moving forward with purpose. Now, the investigation into Wilson Munoz is still ongoing, so Chief Broadway said he can't release any details or specifics about the investigation, but he says once that closes, he will release what he can to the public. Covering Osceola County in Kissimmee, I'm Luana Munoz, WESH 2 News.
I mean, it just doesn't seem to end in Kissimmee, and here we go again. And hopefully this is the last one. They said, I guess that's what I took from Chief Broadway's statement, is that this is the last one for this case, but that's been going on since 2023, John. I don't know.
I don't know. How did they not know in advance of this? Like they fired the police chief, or she resigned or whatever, a while back. You would have thought that this guy was going to do it. I mean, they think it was not enough. I don't know. So, this police department, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But hopefully this is the last one, and then finally they will have cleaned up the Kissimmee Police Department.
I am starting to like this police chief.
Yeah, seems like a nice guy.
He seems like somebody who is not willing to defend the bad, right? And I can appreciate that. He's not willing to defend the mistakes of people. You'll defend people, all right? You'll defend mistakes, but you're not going to defend bad. And there's a difference between the two. As a leader, you always you defend your people, you watch out for them, but you don't defend people who are blatantly contrary to your mission.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't seem like he's the guy to do that. I have a good. He's impressed me.
No, that's good. That's good. All
From
right.
Such a harsh critic, right?
I was gonna say it's hard to impress you, John. So, all right. So here we go, man. This one rocked the community here recently. This member of the Osceola response team arrested on multiple charges. John, where is it? All right, there it goes.
Sir, you were arrested on 10 separate counts.
21-year-old Alberto A.J. Jose Castaner Jr. was in court in Osceola County this week, facing multiple counts of transmission of harmful material to minors and 1 count of solicitation of a minor. The sheriff's office said Castaner first got on their radar when they were contacted about messages between him and...
I just want to say real quick, John, do you remember the Monchichis?
That's this guy, right? The Monchichi.
Yeah, he looks like a Monchichi, like from the 80s. Remember those things? And anyway.
Yeah, I remember. I used to call my sister that.
a 10-year-old, in which they believed he appeared to be grooming the minor. The sheriff's office said he met the minor in his work with the Osceola response team. The organization's founder, Richard Herr, said he was contacted by the minor's mother about the messages and sent pictures of them.
She said, you know, I'm 10 or something like that. And
He said he called law enforcement. According to the sheriff's office, the messages at the time didn't rise to a criminal level, but their investigation didn't end there. Herr said he allowed Castaner to continue living with him and volunteering after the incident.
I was like, well, you know, if we let him go, he has nowhere to go. He has no place to go. He may end up in a girl's house. Something could happen. So
what?
My wife, not wife, my fiance wasn't too happy about it, but we let him stay. And it was hard because I watched every single move. His phones was taken away.
I asked her,
do you think that put the customers, clients at risk?
I seeing it now, yes. At the time of this happening, I knew law enforcement was involved. I didn't think it was going to take this long.
Ultimately, the sheriff's office conducted an online undercover investigation and started talking with Castaner while posing as an 11-year-old girl. During the conversation, the sheriff's office said Castaner solicited the minor for nudes and engaged in sexualized conversation. During the investigation, AJ sent several photographs of his genitals and communicated sexually with who he believed was an 11-year-old child.
I didn't think he was capable of taking pictures and stuff like that. I mean, he don't show that character.
Covering Osceola County in Kissimmee, Haley Crumblehome, West 2 News.
Wow. And yeah, a lot of people there's been a lot of chatter about this online, John, on Facebook and other areas. You know, the Osceola response team has really popped up out of nowhere as of late. I mean, over the last year or so, Mr. Herr, and I don't really know him at all. I mean, I've seen him on Facebook. One of his profiles says Richard Herr, action reporter, and it says he's with iSky News, which I've never heard of before in my life. And then, Richard Herr, Osceola response team. And I guess they have these freezers at local small businesses in Kissimmee and St. Cloud where they put food in them for people that have food insecurity or whatever. And then they go out to like where there's a wreck or if they're trying to pull a car out of a ditch or something like that. I mean, I don't really understand what they're doing. I guess it's just out there to help. But this guy was with Mr. Herr. I guess he lived with Mr. Herr. Was with him all the time. I mean, you can go back through their the videos that they put on the Osceola response team's Facebook page. And this guy that they just arrested, he's in a lot of these videos with Mr. Herr. Just a very strange situation. Somebody had questioned Mr. Herr and asked him why he didn't do any background checks on these people, and he said it's too expensive. Which
I wonder what's too expensive.
I you know what, John, I responded to one of those comments and I said, you know what, I can do background checks. And it's not that expensive at all.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, it would have helped in this situation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't catch them all. But at the same time, I mean, it's super unfortunate. I don't know anything about this organization. It just always, have you noticed, like, it's always like these people who are, I'm not even going to say it. I don't want to cast any kind of doubt on what they're doing or anything like that. I could just say Osceola County is a place where watch your kids.
Yeah.
Watch your family. Take care of your family. Watch over your kids, no matter what somebody says. Because, hey, I saw literally that there was a pastor who had his boat parked on a body in Osceola County. Yeah. Okay, so when I'm saying watch your family, I mean, don't trust anybody in Osceola County, especially the people who pretend to be the world's greatest of anything, because we've seen that the people who lead this county and who make good things happen for some people, usually it's themselves. They're not trustworthy people.
Yeah. So, all right, John. So I guess we're gonna end it with that, and just a follow up real quick. I just wanted to say we do have a small follow up to the last Florida show we did, which was a War of the Elephants update, where we had 2 candidates, actually 3, including myself, for FRA state leadership. on the show and talking about what was going on with the Florida Republican Assembly and their upcoming elections for statewide officers. So a call was made. We had a vote on the bylaws and different things that were concerning to many of the different people running for these positions within the FRA. I can tell you now that a lot of the things that were concerns are no longer concerns, which is a good thing. You know, everyone came to a consensus and an agreement. So that is good news and a good update to what's going on there. We will see what happens. We'll continue to follow that and update everyone as that comes in. So, you know, the new date of the FRA election is December 3rd.
Okay.
There we
awesome.
go.
So we need to have everybody. I think that it's a good time to have the RLC, the FRA, all the people who are those leaders, and just kind of like talk about what's going on, because I think that their voices need to be heard. And if they're leaders, if they're true leaders, they won't be afraid to come on, be challenged, and put forth why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah,
I would even
absolutely.
Evan Power, Mr. Two Beers can come on the show too and talk about what makes, purging grassroots conservatives out of the party a good thing and so on. And I would even let him on, right? He would have to make sure he doesn't bring a loaded weapon, that he doesn't drink 2 Bud Lights before he comes on, but nonetheless.
Well, Mr. Power would probably never come on this show, John, because he is somebody who likes to block people online.
Yeah,
so if you disagree with him, he likes to block. So does Mr. Helmick. He doesn't like to disagree or have disagreements with people. He just automatically block, and that's it. So I don't think there's a discussion to be had with those two individuals, but
absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway.
So that's it then, right?
Yes.
All right. So we went a long show, but we love you. We appreciate you being with us. We'll be back soon for Unsanctioned America. Until then, have a great weekend and a great week. On behalf of myself, former school board member John Arguello, my great friend citizen Tom Lord, thank you. God bless you. We'll see you later on.
Well, I mean, I was entertained, to be honest.
I think it is rich beyond measure. The fact that a school board member that has tens of millions of dollars of conflict of interest before this board has the courage to come up here and talk about anyone's behavior. If anyone should be ashamed of themselves, sir, it should be you.
And I'm in favor of you being able to speak your mind, no matter what. That's how we get. Remember when we were kids, right? And you had a problem with somebody, and then your dad would kick you out to go fight with that kid, and then you shake hands, and then you go home, and then you become friends.
Disgust when they're trying to, take this word and give it meaning that it doesn't have.
Like our entire country needs to go through a fasting. You see all of these new age hippies, right? They're constantly fasting. They're doing starvation diets, or they won't eat for this. What is it called? Like some kind of
intermittent fasting. It's not just us, and not just fans of President Trump, MAGA Republicans. We're not the only ones